Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. Let me ask you this. If you'd be so kind, would you just raise a hand? Yeah. Doesn't matter to me which hand. No, just go. No, it has to be one. He says to make it seem scientific. Okay, now let me see you raise that hand just as high as you can raise it. Okay, so I'm not even going to go to the next part of this step because he's already done it. But the next part, you may put it down, thank you. But the next part of the step was to get you all to raise your hand even higher. And who thinks he or she would not have been able to raise it higher? You would have. So I'm going to ask you to really raise things high today in what you're going to pick up from what we're doing. And for your having done that and beaten me to the punchline, thank you.
I've done it before.
And, okay. Wow. Here is a copy of my #1 best-selling book from Amazon, Hey You, Don't Stand Out, Get Out, written with the great Dr. Mark Kosman, who's back here. I'm sure he'd be happy to sign it for you as well. Okay? Let me ask you this. Do you have a feeling I'm going to show a few videos up here? What's a guy that does videos if he doesn't show videos? But I'm going to ask you a few things first. What's this?
Pencil.
Excuse me? A pencil. It's a what?
A writing implement.
A writing instrument.
A writing utensil.
Writing utensil. What else?
Communication device.
Communication device.
A source of money.
Source of money.
Something to bite on when you're nervous.
Something to bite on when you're nervous. I've had somebody say it's a pencil to put behind your ear so you look like you're a manager. Somebody said it was a weapon sometimes before. Wood with graphite in it.
It's a method to erase a mistake.
Somebody said it was also an eraser holder, but to erase a mistake. Very true, right? So the potential in here is unbelievable, isn't it? Right? How many people have used this pencil to write the great novel, the best-selling novel in the world? Okay, there's great potential in that. Let me ask you this. What is this? This was from a jvAlert Live. I took these off the table. What is this? Okay, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to say it's a pencil with ink. Okay? But it's the same thing. It's a pen. Okay? It happens to be from a hotel where we had a jvAlert before. Same thing. Great potential in that, isn't there? Same thing here. What's this? A pencil. But does it look the same as the first pencil? No. And look at all the different descriptions we have of what that pencil is. What would your client call that pencil? You need to use the words that your client would use for that pencil to attract your client. It has great potential. You will see around the room video cameras. Video cameras are a tool. Video cameras have great potential. You will see the two on either side. There's one in the center aisle to capture the entire. There's one here that's one of my favorites. It's a GoPro. I'm not going to get up and surf, and I'm not going to hang glide, but it's a GoPro to catch me the entire way. It has a different appearance, but you'll see when I edit this video later that it really is a sweet little camera. And one of the things we always recommend about cameras, people say, what's the most important thing about the camera? And you can give me 15 things. It's that I can wear a mic and plug it directly into the camera. I learned years ago on the football field doing documentaries on football teams that when the coach walks out to the center of the field and you're zooming in and he's in there and says, okay, we're going to throw a bomb. No, we're not. I just want them to think we're going to throw a bomb. That people think my video quality is better because they can hear well. Right? Really important. You have seen two of us speaking in a row that have cameras. And we shared the same tripod because I loaned a tripod. But record what you're doing. You can put it on the internet as a talk of what you've given. You can put it on for little snippets to create your own reel of what you're doing. It's real important. So in the hands of somebody who knows what he or she is doing, this video camera can do some amazing work. And I had a client once who said to me, Charlie, I can push the damn button on a video camera. What do I need you for? Dr. Mark remembers that conversation. And I thought, what am I doing here? Why are you even having the conversation? I hope you'll find out throughout this whole presentation why you're even listening to this. So I want you to relax. You can take notes if you want to. I handed out outlines. If they smell a little bit like Wawa coffee, because that's what spilled on them today into all my electronics. Yeah, one of the best laid plans of mice and men. And also, please hold your questions for the end. You can write your questions right on that sheet that I gave you. I'll be happy to answer them if we have time here, or see me anytime. I will be here through the whole event. And those that were here yesterday know that I was here then. Okay, so let's assume for a minute that video is a great way to get your message out. I just want you to come along with me and assume that. I haven't proven anything to you yet. What's the easiest way to create a video? I'm going to tell you, Joe, it's what I call one camera, one take. One camera, one continuous take. No editing. Wow, they're all saying, oh, thank God, editing, that's so difficult. If you can use Word, you can edit video these days. And the easiest way to do it, I think many of us have it right in our pocket already, is your cell phone. Doesn't need to be a smartphone, but it needs to have video in it, right? So I can go here and I can say, hi, it's Charlie Seymour Jr. I'm here with Larry Hochman. Larry, tell us a little bit about yourself. Larry tells a little bit about himself. That was Larry. Be sure to see his link at the bottom of this video. Boom, that's it. It's done. Over. I put it on my website. That's all I've had to do. You can walk around and create those all day long. You can also use Instagram, Vine, Social Cam. Very simple. You now have a recording studio in your pocket. Okay, I was asked about 20 minutes before a meetup, would I be the speaker that day? Would I talk about online marketing? I said, sure, I'll talk about YouTube and things we want to do on YouTube. I didn't have my video equipment with me. I just turned on the record feature here and put it down on the desk. So I had an MP3 that I then could use. And I had a few photos because some of my buddies were taking some photos and gave me the photos. So that goes on in a blog post. There is no excuse anymore. We can't run and hide from this. It really is very simple to do, and you can do that. Now, to me, the next easiest kind of video to create is the type with pictures, a little music bed, and some text. That would be the next easiest. So every video that I show you today, go ahead and get the message from the video. Clearly, I don't show you videos so that you don't get the message that's there in the video. But what I want to suggest to you is keep thinking, how can I use this? How can I do that? He doesn't look all that smart. I ought to be able to figure it out if he could figure it out, right? So you can use every single one of these and look at what's being done in these videos. What techniques are being done, how simple is it, all that sort of stuff. We're going to see one now that is really nothing more than images and text.
Charlie,
What, Chuck?
see that guy in the back?
Yeah?
I think he's sleeping.
That's Ken MacArthur. Leave him alone. Get off the screen. Okay, so there was a little bit. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. There was a little bit more on that video, as you saw. He keeps saying he wants to come and be a star, so he comes out there on the screen every once in a while. I have to get him out of there. But really, most of that was just images. Who knows where that was made? Not you, Dr. Mark. How was that created? Animoto. Animoto.com. If you don't know Animoto.com, you ought to know Animoto.com. It's a fabulous site. Okay, so somewhere between one camera, one take, and a fully edited big video is this next style of video that I would describe for you and encourage you to use. And it literally is watch this as it happens. This happens to be a welcome video to a website. I have a website, lessonsfrommygrandson.com. Little lessons like, when we fall down, get up. How many of us as adults may have forgotten that? Or the door is shut, I can't go anywhere. How about another door? Or going around the block to get in. It's amazing when you watch little children, the little lessons they teach. One of the first ones that really fascinated me. You know, if there's a colored box right here, and I press on that colored box and get a color, that's a one-step process for our minds. But if I press a button down here that gets that color to show up, that's really two steps. So it took me a while to remember that, because our customers, clients, and patients sometimes need those easy steps to get things done. So this is from lessonsfrommygrandson.com. This is the welcome video to the website. I will tell you the steps that I have taken after we've seen it. But you need to sit here analyzing, what is he doing in this? Not just the message, the tone, the quality, what is he bringing into it, what things is he doing with the video, and then I'll describe some of the things from this video afterwards. People have asked me, why am I spending so much time creating this video series? Let me tell you. One night I was in my grandson's room as he was about to go to bed. I had him in my arms, I had his bottle, I was feeding him his bottle. We were cuddling. He was relaxing. He was getting ready for bed. It wasn't this chair, but this is the chair that I rocked his mother to sleep in many years earlier. So I'm holding Beckett, the room is dark, the sound machine is on, my senses are overloading, and I thought, what if I die right now? He'll grow up not knowing me. You know, I'd never had a moment like that before. One of those moments that you can mark your life on. Those moments that you can look back to say to yourself, that was really a life-changing moment. It was the first time that I thought of legacy, of what am I leaving behind, let alone what am I working on right now. So I thought, I want to create something for him. I hope you enjoy it too, but something for him. He has taught me so many lessons. As we're starting, he's 18 months old, and I see something new in him every time we're together. We live fairly close. Pam and I enjoy being grandparents and having him come over. Then I read the book, The Icarus Deception. How high will you fly? You know, Seth Godin says, you've got to be an artist. You've got to get out there. You've got to go do something different. You've got to help other people. Don't just sit back and relax. Get out there and do something. This is my way of doing that. So Beckett, here are some lessons you've taught me. Dr. Mark says to me that he worries about the child who continues to do things that are not pleasant for him, but okay, I understand that part of it. So notice what I did there that's a little different from the other videos. It's a weekly series. We can all do those weekly series. It has bumpers on the front and the back. Forget the bonus video part at the moment. It had a welcome to it that is repeated week after week after week. It had a call to action. It told you that this was being released every Thursday. Please see it. Sign up for our list, etc. A call to action. I happen to then have a bonus video as well. Now, it had lower third text. You know, it's really the lower 20%, but it used to be the upper, the middle, and the lower thirds. It comes from photography, whatever. The text was down below. We tell several messages at once when we do videos. And people just absorb them as a message. So there's the video, the picture part of it. Did you happen to hear a little music behind it? Little music tied it all together. It's like the thread tying it all together. There's the spoken. Now, was I in a power position when I started that? Or was I in a much more calm, relaxed position? Remember how I started the video? Where was I? In a rocking chair. Can you get more relaxed, more personal, more intimate than just that? So I'm taking the role of granddad on. Okay, I am a granddad, but I wanted to make sure that everything worked with that, right? If you're in a video and you're standing and you're talking right into that camera, that is a power position. Those of us in theater, we know we're going stage left, we're going stage right, and we want to make that delivery, we come right down center. That's what standing will do. So here I'm in a come into my living room kind of idea. Used a bit of humor. It's always nice for me to hear that there's some laughter, because I thought, well, that was my humor. I hope it was their humor, you know, as things are going on here, to welcome you in. So there wasn't a lot more. There were some pictures that were in there too. Remember the wall had Beckett's or his footprints, and I would just zoom in on that. If you can use Word, you can edit video. So that was not a complicated video. It's somewhere between one camera, one take, and a great big, fully produced video. Get the sense? Okay, here are the goals that I have for today. I hope that you will share with these goals for at least this portion of today. I don't have the goals for the entire day. One is I will help you and show you how to get found and engage online. You need to get out of the crowd that looks like everybody else. Think of a graduation for a minute. You see that sea of cap and gowns? And other than the girl that wrote on it, "Thanks for the money, Mom," they all look exactly the same. You can't afford to do that. You need to start your own crowd, and having your own signature look on these videos will do that for you. And we put them out all over the internet, short ones, not longer ones like this where they will come to the website to see it. Shorter videos to attract people and bring them to you. Next, I will show you how to create some of your own videos. We've already talked about several styles so far. If nothing else, I want to make sure that you have an understanding of what those kinds of videos are. You know, when I was a professional photographer, and I only use those skills now in my own business, I no longer do bar mitzvahs and weddings and that sort of thing. People would call me up and they'd say, how much for an 8x10? Larry, do you really think that a mom who's calling me for a bar mitzvah or a bat mitzvah really cares is her real care? Are you going to show the emotion that's happening here? Are you going to get in the middle of the horror when we're dancing that and take over and be obnoxious? I mean, these are the kinds of things moms really want to know at a time like that, right? But the only question she knew to ask was how much is an 8x10? So we want some of these videos that are out there to educate people to ask you the right questions. But you can't just put those videos out because they won't search for those videos because they don't even know what those videos are at this point. So we'll syndicate them all over the place. And if you're a thought leader with very few followers, you definitely need video. And let me say this to you as well. If you are the reason someone is coming to your business, you're not selling just affiliate products, you're not selling just somebody else's book, you're not selling commodities. If they're coming because of you, you personally need to be on camera. Don't hide off screen. Did I share a little emotion in this? Let you come in and see the heart tugs? Not long after my father died, I'm sitting there with my grandson thinking, what happens if it's me? What if I'm next? It's going to happen at some point. My 90-year-old mother's in the medical wing right now. We lost Dad a year and a half ago. I don't want that to happen. We're not going to get into it today, but the crusade that I'm going to be on soon is going to be for dads and granddads to make sure they have video there for their families moving forward. It's an extremely powerful medium. And we will live forever on the internet. My grandson will never grow up wondering, did Granddad love me? What was Granddad thinking about me? Did he spend any time? I had one grandmother, one grandfather. My grandfather I probably saw 20 times the whole time growing up. He would come for certain holidays. Why? Because Mom hated him. Okay. My wife didn't care for her father. My son-in-law hated his father so much, he changed his name right before the wedding to his mother's maiden name. So now my daughter changed her name and he changed it at the wedding. Right? I don't want that for I loved my father loved me. I want to pass that on. This is the power of video. You may not use all the power. I don't use all the power of Photoshop. I don't use all the power of Word. You may not use all the power. Just know that it's there and that it's available to you. And then finally, to show you how to follow up automagically. Because once you have your videos out there and you're attracting all this new attention to yourself and you're putting in your calls to action the way you want them to be put in there, you're going to attract people to you. And most of our business is lost when we leave them on the vine and we don't follow up with people. Oh, we got sick. Oh, I got behind. Oh, I took a vacation. And we don't follow up. Well, I got to tell you, an automated system, it don't do that. It doesn't take a vacation. It keeps doing it. I'm going to give you an opportunity to get into a demo of that, a free demo of that, later today. And then finally, let's have some fun. So you've seen some things that are fun with video, so I want to continue that. I want to talk for just a minute before we move on about some Marketing 101. I do have a background in marketing. I needed a plumber on Wednesday. It wasn't her fault. I said to my wife, It's no more like than when I bite on a soft piece of bread and break a tooth. That soft piece of bread did not break the tooth. So honey, when you take the shower head down and clean the shower and put it back up and the pipe breaks from the wall, thank God she turned the shower off already. It really isn't your fault, but thank goodness she... Love you, darling. Love you on that video. But I'm glad I wasn't the one that did it at that moment, right? So who did I call? John Luke. I didn't look around to find different plumbers. I knew John Luke. John Luke was top of mind. I have a relationship with John Luke. I called John Luke. I happened to get John Luke on the phone himself. Didn't recognize his voice. It had been so long, so I had to call him. I said, oh, this is John, right? Oh, you're in trouble now. It's Charlie Seymour Jr. Okay, so we had a nice conversation. John Luke's person, he didn't have to come himself, came to fix it. Now, if I'd have known my friend Mike over here long enough ago, it might have been Mike that I'd have called because I have a sense that that relationship is growing. But I also have loyalty to the people that I go to. Right? I meet a new dentist. I'm going to go to the dentist I've been going to since 1969 because I just have that relationship. Don't we all want that? Don't we all want to be top of mind with our customers, clients, and patients and have them not look anywhere else? Yes, of course, that's what we want. But what does it take to do that? It takes building a relationship, which is done in person. Video will help with that. And it needs to stay top of mind. We need to have some reminders. You know, most of the money we make in our businesses is with clients that we already have. It's not with going and getting the new ones. We all know how expensive it is to get new ones. So a system like this that I'm talking about will allow you to stay in touch with the people you've already met and handle all of what's going on there. So, how many of you have an MBA in marketing? Okay. How many of you have studied marketing? Okay, a number of you. I don't know what it means when you say you've studied marketing, but I'm glad to see that you've studied marketing. I will tell you that I know that Mike is a hell of a marketer from his business. You know, I've pointed him out a few times. I'll put your link right here underneath in this video when I do it, because this is a marketer. This guy's a great, great marketer. But you know, most people, and we're not most people, because you're spending time on a Saturday to learn about running your business. What are most people doing? I don't know what most people are doing. Some days I wish I did know what most people are doing, and I would just go do that along with them. But you're spending time learning about things right now, and so that's really important. But most of them look left, they look right, they see what everybody else is doing, and they copy them. And then they wonder why they get normal results. Normal, norm, in the middle, terrible. They don't work. That's not what they want to do. Because they don't study what it takes to get there. And so we want to make sure that you're using the right techniques in your marketing, and video is, as this pencil was, a tool while you're doing that. You need to be where people are looking when they're looking for you, unless you have the relationship I have with John Luke. So if they're going to the internet to look, and a lot of people are, you need to be out there answering the specific question that they're asking. That's what we can do with tiny niched videos. Answer the specific question and be out there when they ask. Not big general stuff. Not, hey, all of you. No. A specific thing that they're asking for right then. Okay, I want to talk to you at the moment about what I call the round building and using different languages. And we talked about that I had done bar mitzvah photography and bat mitzvah photography and wedding photography and portrait photography. I did all that stuff, okay? So we need different language for that. And I was going to stand here and tell you to, but I created a little video, created a little video, to talk to you about some of the things in a round building as your business and using different languages for different people. We must use different language for the different people that we attract to our businesses. Let me give you an example. Let's say this round building is your business. 95% of what you do inside this round building for your business is exactly the same for everyone. 95%. But to get people in there, there must be separate doorways to get them in. I'll give you an example. when I was a photographer and I had weddings versus bar mitzvahs, I couldn't say to people, come, I'm a great photographer. Come see what I do. No, I had to say, I'm a wedding photographer. I'm a bar mitzvah photographer. People had to understand exactly what I'm doing. So even though I'm the same guy, the same camera, the same eye, the same album company, I needed different doorways. So here's my doorway that says, come, I'm a bar mitzvah photographer. I'm a family portrait photographer. I'm a wedding photographer. Here's another way to look at that. I've got some information from Inc. magazine for 3 different levels, 3 different generations. They talk about baby boomers, Gen X, and Gen Y, also known as millennials. See the difference here. Listen, understand why you can't use the same language to attract all these people. Baby boomers, their business icon? Bill Gates. Generation X, that's 1964 to 80 when they were born. Jeff Bezos. He's the Amazon guy. And Gen Y, they're 1980 to 2000. Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook. How about musical influences for those 3 groups? Baby boomers, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones. Gen X, Madonna, Nirvana. Gen Y, Eminem, Lady Gaga. How about defining moments? Those things that we lived through. Those things that we say, oh, I can't believe that you're not old enough to remember this. I remember my parents talking about the Great Depression and World War II. I'm a baby boomer. What are some of these? Baby boomers, Vietnam War, Watergate. Gen X, the fall of the Berlin Wall, the O.J. Simpson trial. And Gen Y millennials, September 11, and the rise of social media. What were some of the technical breakthroughs for these generations? Fax machine for baby boomers, personal computers for Gen X, and smartphones for Gen Y. How about the way we contact people? This is really key to your business, how you contact people in these 3 groups. Baby boomers, call me. Gen X, email me. Gen Y millennials, Facebook me. Well, I think that's true, but I also think that's smartphone. You need to text to those people. Certainly anyone younger than that, you need to text to them. And then they say, it's 9 o'clock. Where are these 3 groups of people? The baby boomer, in the office. The Gen X, home with the family. And the Gen Y millennials, out with friends, but checking email. Is it any wonder that we need different language to get in for these people to bring them into our businesses? You can't talk to someone who's a baby boomer using the same language as you do to someone who is a millennial. Then again, you can't do the same if it's male or female either. There's different language. So just think, in your business, what language are you speaking? Are you using separate doorways to bring people into your business?
You know, and as a wedding photographer, if it's a 22-year-old bride first wedding versus a 57-year-old bride third wedding, I can't use the same language. And I got to tell you, the 57-year-old bride, because I did a couple of those, they don't want to know about these great big fancy albums that they paid for, and that guy's wearing that pale blue tuxedo from all those years ago, and my God, I just wish I could burn that thing, right? My daughter insists that I keep it, I can't throw it away, right? She wants something different. So we have to meet them where they are and use the language that they're using. Now, for you, we've heard this from some other speakers. For you, really, the easiest way to create a video to get your own message out there is to be interviewed. You sit, have somebody ask you questions. We're all used to seeing Oprah up there. First of all, you're given new importance because you're the one that's being interviewed. We don't interview unimportant people. That's the theory of it, and that's what most people will look at when they see that. And so you've already put together the questions. I'm going to suggest that they're going to be frequently asked questions. We all know what those are. What do you talk about
at a cocktail party, a barbecue, when you go to lunch today and somebody says, what do you do? What are those questions that people ask you? And then there are those should ask questions that I mentioned a little while ago, the things they don't know enough about you. If you put 20 of those together and sit for an hour and are interviewed, now all of a sudden you have 20 little videos that can be cut up. You already saw in the beginning, I call them bumpers. Think of a car, front and back. You put bumpers on it to say, hey, I've got some cool information. Listen to this, right? So you don't have to repeat that every time. Give them the information. Then the back bumper is the call to action, where they go to find out more information, or sign in, or buy my whatever, right? So the easiest for you really is to think of what those questions ought to be and have someone interview you on camera. So here are some samples of that. These will go by pretty quickly, just to give you an idea of what these may look like.
Interviews are the easiest way for people to get their information across and then get it distributed throughout the internet. All people have to do is talk with me as I record it. It's also a great way to write blog posts by transcribing the interview, or even a book. Notice how relaxed most people are in these interviews. And none of them is a professional guest, only a business person, a professional, clergyman, and more.
No special background, no bank of lights, a little bit of lower third text, ask a question, get the answer, follow up. That's really where the interviewer can help you the most if that person is good. Bring out that next part from you. That's really key. Okay? Interview. Really good technique.
Charlie, what's the sweet spot on the time for an interview?
Okay, and we want to write those questions down, but I will answer that one. Anything that we're putting out to, because I want to make sure I follow all my things and then go through. I appreciate it, Carl. Anything that we want to put out to the internet that we want somebody to come across when they have a specific question about something, I'm going to suggest to you 90 to 120 seconds is a good number to aim for. You're not putting 5 or 10 minutes out there. They're not. But if they're interested in that and want to go somewhere else, then they may get that. You know, my wife looks at some of my work, and Joe, she says to me, I would never. Sorry again, honey, for making fun. That's not what she sounds like, but that's the way I say it. It's all those years of theater. I'm sorry, I can't help it. I would never look at some of the stuff you do. All that time it takes in some of these videos. This is the woman who works very hard and then comes home, turns QVC on in the computer and turns QVC on in the TV and sits there for 2 or 3 hours while she's doing some of her other things, watching that. Will they watch if they're interested? Yes.
Does she buy?
Do they know? Do they know? She buys all the time. Do they know that they are interested in you? Not up front, right? I get up for my 30-second speech. I often sit down. I've never even given my name. People don't care what my name is until they care about me, and then they want to know, how do I get back in touch with that guy and that sort of thing, okay? So how else do we know that this works? Well, let's look at the impact of what video might do for you. And I have a video to show you, which was a very fun time for me, and I love to, you know, and I'm speaking next month too. I may have to use this again because I think she'll be at this particular presentation. This is another of my weekly series. You can do series. You can do it. There's the front bumper.
I went to a meetup the other day, and this very nice woman, her name is Carol. Hi, Carol. She leaned across after hearing me speaking with somebody else, and she said, "You're Charlie Seymour Jr. You're famous. You're all over the internet. I see your videos everywhere." I guess that's one of the reasons I do video, right? This is not what I said to her. I talked to her about how she can do videos. You know, I can still remember when I was a kid, I drove up to Swarthmore College and there was this circle up there. And there was one of the local newscasters. His name was Bob. And he was interviewing different people. And I called out to the window to him and waved over to him, "Hey Bob, how are you?" My friend said, "How can you call him that?" I felt like I knew him. Don't you feel like you know people that are in the movies, that are on television, that do your local news? Don't you think you get to know them and really feel that there's someone you have known for a long time? You get comfortable. That's what happens with video. It's
always fun for us when we go somewhere and somebody calls across to us or just walks up and says, "Hi, Dr. Mark. Hi, Charlie." Well, the only people that call him Dr. Mark are those that have seen him here on our videos. I made that up. His wife is also a doctor. They're both psychologists. So I tease and call her Dr. Deb, which people don't really call her. But people get to know you on video. Can you see the power of video? Can you see why there were some people at that meetup who came across the room to talk to me after hearing Carol? Thank you again, Carol. That was very nice of you to say it that way. Then 2 days later, I saw Carol again. And we're talking about, does Carol, within her own business, she does a lot of graphic design, does she have any video services? And she said to the buddy sitting next to me, she said she didn't. I said, Carol, of course you do. You have me. So we can work together. That's one of the joys of this. We all can work together. Dr. Mark and I do not clean out our own gutters. We don't, well, he may cut his grass. I don't cut my grass. I don't service my own car. I go to experts to do that. That's what this society's we're all doing in it. So go ahead and use experts. See why video is so important and get those videos out there. You need to be, hey, you're everywhere on the internet too.
All right, notice some things that were different in this video. How many people could see that I was reading from a teleprompter? You could see that I was reading from a teleprompter?
I didn't see a teleprompter, but I knew that because I took a course in television.
Okay. I've never used a teleprompter in my life. And I don't recommend it for you either. Because you can cut video very easily. If you can remember only one point that you want to make the one point. Then we'll do a dissolve into the next one. Now, what I don't recommend is that you do a 2-minute video and you have one dissolve where you had the one mistake. Put some other dissolves in it if you have to do that, just so it looks like artistically you did that. What did I have behind me in this video? Different pictures. Sometimes they were even moving a little bit, right? How did I create that? What's the technique? Green screen. So we're getting a little more sophisticated in the ones we've seen. But in the interview ones, when you saw the snippets of interviews, what was the background? It was, as we call it, on location. So if you want to interview Ken MacArthur and you want to go to the hallway and put his banner behind him, that's a perfect location to do it. I do recommend that you put close mics on at a time like that so you're not getting all the rest of the noise going around. Okay? So we're getting a little bit more sophisticated as time goes on. Again, a weekly series, we can all do that. How else do we know this works? Well, one of the books at this book meetup, it's a terrific book, Utility. Anybody read the book Utility by Jay Baer? I recommend the book to you. Marcus Sheridan, also known now as the Sales Lion, did the foreword in that book. And his business is river pools and spas. And those of us who have been in business for a little while might understand this story. Beginning of 2008, business was booming. He was spending money on advertising. People were coming in. He was selling pools. He was digging holes in the back of their yards, and he was making money. By January 2009, he was close to bankrupt. Pools is not what somebody was spending money on at that time as the economy was heading south. So he was close to financial ruin. He had no foreseeable projects. He had 16 employees sitting around twiddling his thumbs. And his bank account was overdrawn for 3 consecutive weeks. Pretty tough time. He had no money to go spend on advertising. So he learned some of the techniques that you're learning over this weekend. He learned some of the techniques from Jay Baer, and what did he do? He started putting content onto his website. And what he found at that time, he put a new blog post up every week. Now, it took him about an hour to do each blog post. I will suggest to you that if he had sat there doing those 20-question interview series, it would have been done a lot more quickly. He'd have spent the hour talking, and then that could have been done by somebody else, and it could have gone out there. But in any case, he kept adding good information. It wasn't sales stuff. It was good information about what clients might ask about a pool. And what he discovered when he got further into the numbers was anybody who had looked at 30 of his pages
had an 80% hit rate on buying a pool. So not only were they self-educating, they were self-selecting by this point. I highly recommend the technique to you. I highly recommend the book. Go see that foreword. You can't just find it online, unfortunately. You got to really see what he's talking about there. I'll take questions later. So please just jot them down, okay? So it was very interesting to see what he was able to do. No buy my crap videos going out. This is what you think about a pool. This is how a family enjoys a pool. This is why you ought to have a certain length of a pool or depth of the water or how the filter works. Those kinds of good questions and answers on his website started attracting people. The keywords started attracting people, and he was finding that people were buyers. So what if you have a product or service that you want to sell on the internet? What do we do? Well, we still do videos. I still recommend that they're short videos to attract people to you, and that you have videos on your site to describe your product or service. We see in statistics that a video accompanying a product or service, that people are 194% more likely to buy the product at a time like that, because they understand what it is. They also understand who you are. So some samples of some product videos.
Product demonstration videos don't have to be as elaborate as you find on QVC or in infomercials. But statistics show that people are 174% more likely to purchase a product when a video accompanies it. And it shows how it works.
Let me guess, you guys are from the college.
Yeah.
You got it from the college. So what is the fall fair going to do for you here at the college?
We literally, last year, we woke up at 10 and got here, and we made a promise for ourselves that we'd get here this year, 9:30. We got here at 9:30.
He's taking it under the grinding head, which he then will set so that it'll be very precise when he starts it up.
Plus motif. The only case you need for function. The only case you need for fashion. And with all the colors and designs, you need more than one. Plus motif. Function and fashion in a snap.
They don't always all have to be as fancy as what you see on QVC. I will say, if you recognize that young woman and you look at QVC a lot, it's because she's on QVC and she was the model helping on that particular day. Who has a product or service that they think could be helped with a video? I think I saw a hand go up here first. So again, thank you. Here's a copy of our book for participating in that. And I will also say that I've got 5 more copies of my book here with you, the book that Dr. Mark and I wrote. John, my good buddy John over here, Push 10 Marketing, has those books. If you'd like a copy of that book, you hand John a $10 bill or $10, and he will give you that book. If you would like also the downloadable book, the audio book, and 5 podcasts that talk about what was the thought behind the book, and that will be added for free. In addition to that, you give him a 20 for that, and I will send it. But you've got to give him your business card at the same time so I know where to send it. I'm not going to repeat that one. John is here if you happen to want it. It's not what I'm here to do, but the downloadable and all that stuff I talked about, it's a $28.95 value, and you're going to get it for the $10 in here. Now, some of these books, and one of the reasons they're $10 today is because I spilled my coffee and all my electronic stuff, and the books got a little moist, so they may have a nice olfactory. Yeah, I dried them as best I could, so I apologize for that. So, I guess we get to the time to ask the question, why do you need me? I can turn that camera on, Charlie. I can go buy these $300 cameras that you have. You tell me it's as easy as Word. I can do that. Okay, and I'll repeat that I don't clean my gutters, and I don't, do my own lawn, and I don't change the oil in my car, and there's some of those reasons. But I think there are a couple others as well to consider. My dad used to say, God love him, that a consultant is a person that you borrow a watch from, and then he tells you what time it is. Well, Dad, if it were that easy, we'd all be telling everybody what time it is. It isn't all that easy. One of the things that you get a good consultant to help you with is to get you the hell out of your own way. There's some TV shows that I really like. And I wrote a couple of them down here. And I noticed that it fits well with that. A couple from the Food Network, for instance, Restaurant Impossible, Bar Rescue, and Chef Wanted. Anybody see any of those shows ever? Okay, so there are a few people. Anybody ever see Shark Tank? Okay, so a few more people there. The Voice or the X Factor. They all have a mentor. They all have a coach. They all have somebody that says, get out of your own way. You know, I remember years ago, the Boston Opera came to the gymnasium of Tufts University in Beverly Hills, played the lead in La Fille du Régiment, the daughter of the regiment. And when she started talking about her voice teacher as one of the top opera stars in the world, I thought, yeah, I think we could all use a coach now and then if she's going to have one. It's one of the reasons to do that. So get out of your own way. See the possibilities that you don't see, and come up with another way to tell your story. Helping you find your why is another reason. I know I have trouble with that myself at times. And I'm going to a conference on dads, and I hope that granddads will be included in this to figure that out for myself. Because when I look back and I say that I have created fathers and the daughters they love. I learned it all from my kids, raising great families, ultimate work-at-home dad. Why do I keep doing these? I don't know. Part of the reason I don't know is because that little reptilian brain in here, that limbic part of the brain, cannot put things in words. So it's not saying, Charlie, this is why you're doing that. I just keep having a sense of that's what I want to do. That's what somebody who starts to talk to you can help you with. They will hear things in you if they're really paying attention to that. And then it's an equation of money and time. I think we could all learn if we wanted to, and we had the aptitude for it. We could all go to medical school to learn what happens when you get that, what's going on here, and the pain down the arm. It's different for men and women, and I'm not giving medical advice on the internet or here. Right? We could go learn how to put a hole in a tooth and put some stuff in it. Right? We don't do that. We don't learn that. We want to spend time doing what we do. We need help because we want to get the word out, but we don't spend it. So that's another very good reason. So it's going to be money or time. You're going to spend some to really get the help you want, or you're not. You're going to spend all the time to learn it yourself. So now that you have the videos up there, we want to make sure that you have that good call to action. You've seen a call to action following each one of the videos that I have here. Call me, sign up for this, do something. Get people to take an action. That's what we want to make sure those videos do. You need that profitable, automated system to do the follow-up once somebody comes in and discovers you. That's a very important thing. And as I say, it gets new prospects for you, and it continues to follow up with people that are already working with you. And you know, if you fill a room with 100 people who can use your service, and legitimately can use your service, only about 3% of them will want it right now. What are you going to do? Kiss all goodbye, all the 97, the rest of them? No, you're going to follow up with them. You're going to continue to give them good information, because they're not going to buy from you today. Did I need John Luke a month ago? Would it have done me any good if I'd gotten 12 things in the mail from him a month ago? No, but if I didn't have that phone number where I needed it on Wednesday, I'd have been in trouble. You need to be in that same place, right? So that's what a system will do. How many people have ever walked away from an event like this, the whole slew of cards, they go in the drawer, they collect dust, and then you do nothing with them? If your hand is not up, you're probably not being honest, or you don't go to a lot of events. A system will allow that to happen and take place. I'm going to give you a chance in just a second to join into a demonstration of this so you get to see what it's like. You get to see, is this something that I should do? If you're starting to take out your cell phone, now would be the time to do it, because you're going to text your way into this if you're interested in seeing it. If you're not and you want to sit back for it, that's fine too. Zig Ziglar said, if people like you, they'll listen to you.
Right.
If people trust you, they will do business with you. So part of the trust is a continuing relationship that you're not crossing the line and you're not being incongruous and you're giving them good information all along. Okay? So here is a sample of how we can get involved in this. A little video with it. It gives you the phone number. If you've never texted in just with a phone number, this is what you do. You take your cell phone out. You do the to place that you normally expect to see somebody's name, and you put the phone number. And in the message place, it's going to ask you, please just put in your first name. That's all you need to do, and you press send. Then the magic happens. Watch as I interact with you instantly. So, a little video that will show you something about this.
Hey, Mark and Charlie, first of all, got your video. It's outstanding.
So I signed up with Dr. Mark and Charlie on the Ultimate Automated Sales Machine, and it has totally changed the way I do presentations and the way I bring people into my system.
So when you started out in that first video with us, you were maybe just a little nervous?
I was maybe a little more nervous.
And then we worked together. We did some of the exercises we had.
It's very interesting actually on how you were able to identify those with fear coming and how to get it out.
Charlie and Dr. Mark made it so easy.
I've learned information going, go back for more, you should be there too. Thanks a lot. Charlie's not gonna let me down until you guys come. You gotta come. Hurry. Please. You didn't do it all. That's what we were gonna do. It's fine. See, let's see.
This is a demonstration. And by law, the same as when you send an email to somebody, people have to be able to opt out of this with no problem. You will get that message in this. You have to even approve even though you're texting into it. So you can get right out of this. It lasts about 3 days. You get to see what this is all about. And you remember the whole time as a demonstration that it is totally customizable to you. The timing of the messages, what's said in the messages, whether you use videos or you don't use videos, I recommend that you do. What the videos are, they have you in those videos, all customizable to you. So, I would suggest that you take advantage of this and learn what this system is like. Get involved in what this is, just see it, learn it. If it makes sense next week, because clearly in a room only 3% of people are ever interested right now, you let me know. Do you think my contact information may be included in this? Yes, of course it is. So follow up with this. If you think you want this right now and you want to have the 30% discount because it's here at jvAlert Live, come and see me right away. We'll set up a time, we'll set up a payment plan, we'll make it all work for you. But if not, just follow up with the demo. So, video. Important for you in so many ways. To attract people to you, to explain what you're doing, for that life history for people to understand. There is a lot of power with video. You may use all of it, you may use some of it. I highly recommend video. Yes, I've been doing it since I was a little kid, but I had to come back to this because of the power of it. I could see it. There's so much more power than writing a blog by itself when you have video included. So I hope you've seen some styles of video. I hope you've seen some things maybe you haven't seen before. I hope you've seen the ways to use humor and to use emotion in there, and that you can show yourself of what's going on. I hope this has been a good time for you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. As I say, I'll be here the rest of the weekend, so by all means catch me then. I know we want to change some things over at this point, so thank you.
Thank you so much, Charlie. Give him another big
Thank you. Thank you very much.